We're going to go ahead and get started. Before I begin the regular city council meeting closed session, I would like to remind members of the audience that anyone wishing to speak during public comment must obtain a number card from the city clerk. If you did not obtain a number and wish to speak, please proceed to the back of the room and city staff will issue you a number card. I would like to call to order the regular city council meeting closed session. The time is 5:33. Deputy City Clerk Ty, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Frometa?
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz?
Present.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sosa?
Present.
And Mayor Trujillo?
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Now is the time for public comment. I remind speakers that the public comment period is reserved for comments about the items listed under the closed session agenda. There's an opportunity later in the meeting for general public comment. This is a business meeting and we have business to attend to in the next hour. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the council regarding closed session items. I would like to remind members of the audience that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Members of the audience and speakers who violate these rules and cause a disruption will receive 1 warning and then may be removed from the meeting. Violations of the rules of decorum for council meetings may also result in an administrative fine under the municipal code or a citation for a misdemeanor under Penal Code Section 403. Deputy City Clerk Ty, did we receive any written public comment regarding closed session items to be incorporated into the record?
No,
Deputy
Mayor.
Deputy City Clerk Ty, do we have any speakers?
We do not have any speakers for closed session.
Thank you. Is there a motion and a second to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
So ordered by the mayor. City Council will now recess to close session under the following authorities. Number 1, Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Robert Jacobo versus City of Downey et al. Los Angeles Superior Court Case Number 22 STCV 30151. Number 2, Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Thomas Lynn versus David Lee Aston, Los Angeles Superior Court Case Number 21 STCV 18942. We will now retire to the back for closed session.
nothing to do with the city. That's.
Her son Emmett and my son Daniel.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. I will now reconvene the regular council meeting closed session. City Attorney Funk, will you please report out the closed session action?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. The City Council convened tonight in closed session and addressed both agendized matters. With respect to the first, the case of Robert Hakubo versus the City of Downey, Los Angeles Superior Court case number 22-ST-CV-30151, the council voted 5-0 to settle that matter in the amount of $50,000. I'll just note as an aside, that amount is to be payable by the insurance carrier for the contractor who is performing work in the area where the underlying incident occurred. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. For those of you that don't know, our city attorney is a graduate of Downey High School, but today we're celebrating Warren.
Go Bears.
Before we begin the regular city council meeting open session, I would like to remind members of the audience that anyone wishing to speak during public comment must obtain a number card from the city clerk. If you did not obtain a number and wish to speak, please proceed to the back of the room and city staff will issue you a number card. Lining up during public comment will not be permitted, and each speaker should remain in their seat until their number is called. The time clock will begin when you begin your comments. I will now call to order the regular city council meeting open session. The time is 6:34. Deputy City Clerk Ty, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Councilmember Frometa,
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz,
Present.
Councilmember Pemberton,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Sosa,
Present.
and Mayor Trujillo.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
And now to lead us in the invocation, I will call upon our colleague, Councilmember Claudia Marroquin Frometa.
Thank you, Mayor. Can we please stand? It is always an honor to pray for our city. And tonight, if we can please bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come before you giving you thanks and giving you honor and praise for our health and for the blessings that you bestow upon us, our families, in this community. And tonight, Lord, we come before you with humble hearts, asking you to please bless this city council meeting. We lift up to you our first responders, our police and fire, that you continue to protect them and continue to give them your wisdom as they protect our residents from every corner of our city. Lord, we pray for our department heads, for your wisdom and your protection over their families as well as they continue to work long hours to continue with the work projects necessary to bring about change in this community. We thank you for our city manager, and we thank you, Lord, for his family and his vision in this city. We also thank you for the rest of this council, and we thank you for the mayor. And we pray, Lord, that you would put a special blessing upon each one of us and the families represented here tonight. Help us to make decisions that honor you and that honor the trust that residents have placed on us. And help us, Lord, to continue to be a transparent local government and to put the needs of our residents first and communicate those as much as we can. Help us to make good decisions and give us, Lord, your protection. In your name we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilwoman. Please remain standing. To lead us in the flag salute, please welcome Girl Scout Troop number 7273.
Look at those cuties.
Adorable.
Mine were little, just.
So there's a microphone on the podium, ladies. Whoever wants to just go on out there and speak on that microphone. Right there. Right there. I'm so sorry. We should have. Yeah, perfect. All right. Ready to do this? Okay. Take it away.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's give it up for Troop 7273. Thank you. Please take a seat.
Where's the cookies? Cookies outside for sale.
Now is the time for City Council member announcements, requests for future agenda items, conference and meeting reports. I will start to my right with Mayor Pro Tem Hector Sosa.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see everybody here. Go Bears. I figured I'd get a good response out of that one. I attended several events and meetings. I won't bore you with all of them. I'll just mention a couple of them that I think are significant. I did attend a press conference by Senator Barb Archuleta, and it was in support of a bill that he's founded or co-founded along with Orange County DA Todd Spitzer. It's SB 923, and it's basically it would increase penalties for repeat theft offenders, retail crime, and I was going to move or make a motion to have the city support this, but I'm happy to hear that we are supporting it already behind the scenes, right? So
Yes.
glad to hear that. Also, I attended the ICA conference, Independent Cities Association, which I am a proud board member of. And the ICA does focus on a few key areas of legislation. They do emphasize public safety, and we did get to hear, witness, I was along with council members Pemberton and Ortiz. We did get to sit in on a panel discussion on law enforcement and retention, and just so folks understand, if if you're not aware, it's, obviously it's really competitive right now to attract and retain law enforcement personnel. You can thank the whole defund the police and the anti-law enforcement rhetoric that's kind of picked up steam over the last few years. So, it's really competitive. That's why a lot of agencies, including Downey, are, kind of waving carrots and offering signing bonuses. I would like for staff to look at possible, and this is what it's come down to, possible incentives for current PD who've stayed loyal and have put in, several amount of years. And, I don't know, just any type of incentives. Could be monetary, could be something else, I don't know. But what we walked away with, and we know this, it's really competitive to retain key personnel in law enforcement agencies. So I'd like for staff to take a look at that, please. Last, I want to announce just 3 hours ago, Calvary Chapel Downey, or the city of Downey, lost Pastor Jeff Johnson due to a long illness that he battled, and basically a legend in the area. And Pastor Jeff Johnson was big in the Jesus Christ Revolution back in the 70s, along with Pastor Chuck Smith. And it's my wife and I attended Calvary Chapel Downey for many years. Greg Laurie was part of that Jesus Christ Revolution in the 70s as well. So the city of Downey and Calvary Chapel Downey will have a big void, but we take comfort in knowing that he is with the Lord now at peace. So rest in peace, Pastor Jeff Johnson. That concludes my comments, Mayor Trujillo.
Thank you. And now the councilwoman for the 3rd District, home of the Orange Estates, downtown Downey, the Reeves Mansion, Councilwoman Dorothy Pemberton.
Thank you, Mayor Trujillo. Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you're attending our local city council. As my colleague here, Mayor Pro Tem Sosa, expressed that I did attend several conferences with our colleague Ortiz, along with our mayor, the League of California Cities. This is the Mayor and Council Academy. I call it Council Training 101. We found out we have 482 cities here in California. And we as a council, we are here to preserve and improve the quality of life in our community. And that's what each and every one of us want to do in each of our districts. People, here's a takeaway that I enjoyed hearing. People need to know you care before they care to know what you know. And that's so true. We went to the Independent Cities Seminar. As he mentioned, it was on safety. And it's about speakers of other cities and what they are doing and what we can bring back to the table from what they're doing. There was an emergency preparedness speaker from the Paradise Fire. She was the coordinator. And the video that she showed and how it came so fast, that they lost their whole town, and now how they are rebuilding and where they are 5 years later. Very informative. Our police chief, our fire chief was there as well. The Beverly Hills Police was showing their drone system. They run it 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and it just costs $500,000. So we can do that too if we'd like. But the Sheriff's Department, they have a vacancy rate of 24%. So it's a vacancy rate for our police. And if someone says we just put money on it, that's not the case. Here, as my colleague has expressed, it's very hard and difficult to get officers. We're doing a good job. I think we just recruited 3. I'm also the trustee for the Greater Los Angeles County Vector Control District, the mosquito abatement. And I was eaten up in summer, many of you, and I said, let me get on this subcommittee. Each of us has certain subcommittees to get on. So this mosquito abatement was formed in 1952, and Downey is one of 37 cities that help set policies and establishes budgets, approves expenditures, and they're down the road on Florence in Santa Fe Springs. And so I brought with me, I'm going to be one of our representative. We have to educate the public that any type of stagnant water, and we've had a lot, will cause a lot of these mosquitoes to breed. So I'm looking forward to learning more about them and being proactive in our community about getting the word out how to prevent them. We also have a 2-day in-depth training, my colleague, Mr. Ortiz, and I, for all the departments, all the behind the scenes, and it was very educational. We have a great department. All the departments are running really well. I'd like to thank, I'd also like to recognize for this month, February is African American History Month, and I hope that we have some places out in our city that are promoting it, letting them know all of these different months that we celebrate. Thank you to the Downey Court for coming out to a cleanup. The Keep Downey Beautiful comes on a Saturday, one Saturday a month, 9 a.m. And Reggie Donahue brought the court, and they were working around 5th Street by the Stonewood Mall. I'd like to bring to your attention that there is a Keep Downey Beautiful meeting for the residents, the second Wednesday of each month, 3:30 p.m. here at City Hall. And KDB coordinator is up there. She will, actually, it's tomorrow. So take a card. If you're looking for service hours, you want something to do, it's a lot of good information on here. Let's see, city manager, I would like to maybe have an inquiry and follow up on a couple items residents have reached out to me on. There's some bus shelters that are just benches and not a shelter. I had a resident located by Wiley Burke and Florence. In the summer times, it's very hot. We don't have a covered shelter. Also Paramount and Florence. Maybe we can look into where all the Link buses are that pick up our residents and see if we have any type of a program or plans in Public Works to kind of keep that sheltered for them, give them a little bit more of shade so that they're not as very uncomfortable there, sometimes older seniors or children. I'd also like to, being on the Public Works Committee, we talked elaborately about speeding in certain areas, and Guatemala, north of Suva, and also it can be south, but north of Suva has become really a speeding cut-through area. I think we're at the area right now where we are past informing and finding out what the speed is. We need speed humps. We need to actually now put in deterrents to stop people traveling on Guatemala and see if that could be something that we can be doing. So if you would be able to check on that or give a report back if Public Works is considering that matter. I also had looked at, when I was in Monterey, I'd like to develop this, I'd like to share it. This is a brochure with the city of Monterey. But we, for Downey, have so much history. I don't know if we have a brochure that we can have at our libraries, we can have at hotels when visitors come, to show the rich history of Downey. Put a few key things, the discoveries, the Space Museum, we have the oldest McDonald's, but I'd like to work and try to develop something and find out if we do have something so that we can have this about Downey. So we'll work on that. And lastly, we have a couple events coming up tomorrow. At the Downey Chamber of Commerce is having a fundraiser at Handel's Ice Cream at Apollo Way. It's a fundraiser that you mentioned them, that we can support them. We have on Saturday, the One Pill Can Kill Fentanyl Awareness. That was from Assembly Member Pacheco. She's going to be at Columbia Way, the Space Center. And sign up for TLC's 12th annual 5K run at Apollo Park. That's on Saturday, February 24th. And lastly, the Women's Empowerment Conference that is being put on by the Downey Chamber of Commerce, March 8th. So a couple of advance notices on that. And with that, I will conclude my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now to the First District, home of the Promenade, Downey Landing, and our Space Museum. Councilmember Horacio Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I also attended several events with my council colleagues. I attended the Mayors and Council Academy with my council colleagues, Mayor Mario Trujillo and Councilwoman Dorothy Pemberton. I attended the ICA conference in Santa Barbara with Councilwoman Dorothy Pemberton and Mayor Pro Tem Hector Sosa. I'm happy to announce we have a new business in the city of Downey. I, with Mayor Mario Trujillo and Dorothy Pemberton, attended the ribbon cutting for Sephora in District 1 in Downey Landing. So I'm excited for all these businesses that are coming into our city. So there's going to be a lot of new businesses coming into District 1, Downey Landing, and the Promenade, so keep an eye for that. I also joined Councilwoman Dorothy Pemberton into the tour of the city and meeting all department heads, which was great. A shout out to former Mayor Kirk Cortosian, who gave me a tour yesterday of his new restaurant called Avenue Pizzeria and the theater that's going to provide live entertainment, which was great. This pizzeria is going to be a great place to catch a bite to eat, so I invite everybody to come and join them. They're probably going to be open sometime this weekend or the week following, so please keep an eye. There's going to be great deals for students who attend Warren and Downey High School, so make sure you keep an eye on that. I wanted to see if I can direct staff to see if we can form a facade improvement program to help small businesses with a little improvement, revamping their look. As a small business owner myself, I know how hard it is to spend money on improvements, especially how hard the economy is working right now. So I was hoping, we can help them out. I've been driving around District 1 and I see a lot of businesses that need a little bit of improvement. Maybe we can help them out a little bit. And so hopefully we can provide this improvement program for them.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I wanted to see if we can set code enforcement out to Walmart. Majority of the RVs that were removed off Woodruff, they were now at Walmart. So we have about 5 or 6 RVs in Walmart. I was hoping we could reach out to Walmart to see how we can help them out to, remove these RVs from there. They're also going into Woodruff again. So we're gonna see if we can remain constantly reminding them that this is just a temporary for them. I also want to see if we can ask for a future agenda item to update our council and our staff. Montebello is doing a new ordinance, and I wanted to see if we can get more information on that. There's a lot of empty properties and vacant properties that remained empty, and there's no improvements or anything like that. And they're now proposing to include fees for those who are not actively listing or leasing their properties. So I was hoping I could get a second on that.
Second.
Thank you. And lastly, I just want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day and a happy Lent season. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And now to the 4th District, two-time former mayor, Councilwoman Claudia Marroquin Frometa.
Thank you for that. Good evening, everybody. I will try to keep my comments short. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is really the highlight of my week whenever we have the opportunity to come together and discuss the affairs of our city. And it also gives us an opportunity as council members to tell you what we've been up to. As you know, this is not a paid position, and we are truly public servants for the city of Downey. I want to first start off by recognizing some people in the audience, and that is the executive director of our Chamber of Commerce, Michael Calvert. Thank you for joining us tonight. I also want to recognize past president of the Downey Chamber of Commerce, Carmen Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us tonight. I would also like to recognize brand new incoming commissioners, Elvira Meraz from District 2, and also, and Dania Janzak, whom I've known for many years from District 1. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. I know that we're here to celebrate the accomplishments, and I know the mayor is going to be doing that momentarily for our Warren Bears. Go Bears. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, parents, and thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Do we have any military members, former military law enforcement officers in the house, aside from our Downey PD? If you are, please stand so we can recognize you. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you for your service. As my colleague Sosa mentioned a little bit ago, our heart is heavy tonight with hearing about Pastor Jeff Johnson's untimely passing a few hours ago. Our heartfelt condolences go out to him, his family, and all of the people that he touched through the ministry in Calvary Chapel, Downey. Also, we lost a great member of our community who devoted many, many years of service through Rotary, through Seroptimist, through many community organizations. And many of us are familiar with her magnificent storytelling articles that were often published in the local newspaper, and that is Lorraine Parks. She passed away yesterday as well. And our prayers and heartfelt condolences to her family also. I want to recognize and I want to give thanks to our staff, the department heads, as well as our city manager. I know that there is so much going on in our community, and there are so many developments. And believe me, as council members, we are driving out there, and we are aware the corridor along Firestone Boulevard, there are many storefronts that need a lift. We are aware of empty storefronts or spaces, vacant places that unfortunately closed because of the economy. And we can name them, and we can name them together. We know where they are. And let me tell you that we are working. Our city manager is aware, and our community development director is aware. And we are doing really our best to bring new blood, new businesses to this community. We need it. Those are tax dollars for this city that in turn go back to provide the services that you, our residents, need. So we are working on those things. As a council, we are going to be having a strategy session. It is important as a community, strong, engaged communities, are strong communities. And so as we continue to be engaged, as we continue to strategize and look at what the future of Downey looks like for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years, we as a council, past the time that we're here, we need to look at how to best plan for the future of this community. And so believe me, more to come. There's more things that are in the works. I would like to share with you also, and a special thanks to our city attorney, City Attorney John Funk. I don't want to take too much time, but I do want to say thank you, because the city of Downey, for those of you that were not aware, those of you attending here tonight and those online, the city of Downey accomplished something unprecedented. And we set the precedent, and that is thanks to the effort of our city attorney and staff who really worked diligently on this matter, we were able to obtain, based on the evidence presented, obtained a permanent restraining order for an individual that had been holding our city council chambers hostage with... Thank you. Thanks to him, and thanks for this work. Many times we were told that we couldn't do it because of First Amendment. But this goes to show that in this particular case, the judge found that the conduct that this individual had been engaging in would place any reasonable person, and this started as my year as mayor last year, but we've been wanting to do this for years. It would place a reasonable person in fear of their safety. And as you know, this individual would come here and spew hateful rhetoric, but also say things that were damaging, and place us in fear of our lives and in fear of our safety. And I just want to say thank you, because this is the time where council chambers need to be taken back, and not fear for, as elected officials, not be fearing for our safety as we try to serve our constituents. And all of this hiding under the umbrella of freedom of speech. So thank you, City Attorney, for that. One of the things that we are also doing, and please, if you have not been following the social media platforms for the City of Downey government agency, as well as the Downey Police Department and the Downey Fire Department, I encourage you to do that. We are doing the very best we can, and my council colleagues will agree. We are continuously pushing so that we are continuing to communicate with you and provide you updates. One of these updates are 2 planned outages that are on Southern California Edison's side. But from a city standpoint, we want to make sure that our residents are aware. You will find this information on Instagram as well as the City of Downey Facebook page. There will be a planned power outage, and tomorrow is Valentine's, so plan ahead, in the intersection of Gardendale Street and Lakewood Boulevard between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. And then again on Friday the 16th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Rosecrans Avenue and Lakewood Boulevard. I have a few asks for staff. One, I know that my council colleague Ortiz mentioned about the Walmart and those RVs. Walmart, as an organization, has a policy that allows for overnight stay in their parking lots for RVs. And that's always been allowed. That is for travelers. But in this particular case, these RVs are stationary. So we do need to look into that. But we also need to look into vendors. And these vendors continue to be really increasing in numbers in that particular parking lot, but also in various areas of our city. And we've said before, they need to have a license from the Department of Health, and they also need to have a permit from the City of Downey. And if these vendors, ambulatory vendors, do not have those licenses, then they need to be escorted out of our city.
I'll second that one.
Thank you. We have seen also transient activity increased in some of those vacant buildings that we are familiar with, particularly the big lots behind Starbucks, and next to that Walgreens, is it Walgreens, CVS? On Lakewood and Firestone. We see a few transients that have set up their tents, and I know that that makes it very difficult for our community residents to shop at that particular drugstore. So if we can please look at that transient activity. Also, I received communication from residents that live across the street from Raising Cane's next to the mall, and they have raised some concerns about really increased, of course, in noise and the donuts being conducted late at night, right behind Raising Cane's. And I know we've addressed this issue before, so I don't know if people are coming back and the residents across the street in those townhomes are having they are letting us know they have a safety issue there. And that will conclude my comments for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I wanted to see if code enforcement can be a little more proactive. Christmas is over, and as usual, people are leaving up their Christmas lights. And we need to make a practice of just reminding people to take them down. Christmas is over. We are going to be celebrating
Yes, happy Valentine's.
the Carpenters. As you know, we had a brother-sister singing group, very famous, Grammy Award-winning. She had a very tragic story. Their first album came out about 55 years ago, April. We're going to have a big celebration for them. So planning is on the way. Please save the dates, April 24th to the 26th. I had an opportunity to attend the Rose Float Association meeting. Please become a member if you can. It's only $25, and the funds go towards the building of the float. That float gives the city of Downey a lot of publicity. Just like one of our honorees tonight, there's certain things that the city has, or certain people that help put Downey on the map. Your little city is popular in some areas because we have certain musical acts that have come out of the city, movies that have been filmed in the city, people who are on television who still live in the city. So the Carpenters are very special to us. We had a meeting with Senator Archuleta's office. Downey, as many of you know, is landlocked, bordered by not one, not two, not three, but 4 freeways. In Senator Archuleta's district, I believe we're the most impacted by pollution, and that's air pollution as well as litter from these freeways and the homeless encampments. I think the city should be priority for Senator Archuleta. We've asked the staff to put us on a regular rotation schedule for cleanup from Caltrans. It gets dirty, we call, they come, and then they seem to forget about us, like if the freeways are going away. The freeways are here, they're here to stay, and we should have regular cleaning service. So we're asking Senator Archuleta and his staff to just put us on a regular cleanup schedule because of the freeway impact that our city incurs daily. Sprouts is coming along. I'm following Sprouts closely. As many of you know, they're coming to District 1, the Downey Landing, hoping staff, and they have been, are making that a priority so we can bring you Sprouts. Stomp. Broadway is coming to the Downey Theater. There's a production on February the 28th and the 29th. Student tickets were released today. They're only $25. I highly encourage you to check it out. There's a family 4-pack for $150. It's a really good production. Hopefully you'll go out and enjoy it. This is Broadway caliber production entertainment that we're bringing to you here at the Downey Theater, February 28th, 29th. I would like staff to look into the necessity, or at least for us to consider hiring a federal lobbyist. My understanding, the city has been functioning without a federal lobbyist for a few years. Want the council to consider whether we should bring one back on board. Can I get a second on that?
A second.
Thank you. Father Khan, the trafficking of humans is real. It happens in every state. Father Khan does amazing work in bringing awareness to this issue. They'll be premiering a movie that touches on the subject here at the Look Theater on February the 21st, 6 to 9 p.m. Utility wires, I would like to see if we could at least start designing, and I understand it's very expensive to underground utility wires. Let me start by that. But somewhere in the future of the city, I would love to see the main arteries, at least in the Florence avenues, in the Firestones, in the Imperial Highways, if we can slowly start grounding some of the utility wires. I would like us to develop a plan in case funds ever become available. We're already set to go on where we want to start that type of work. So if we can have a utility wire grounding plan design started, can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. And last but not least, spend local. We're encouraging all residents to keep your money in Downey. What do I mean by that? Please encourage your parents, your family members to make it back into Downey when it's time to fill up the car. We get tax money from those gas pumps. Please shop for groceries in Downey. I know we don't have Trader Joe's, but we have some good stores. Encourage your families to spend in Downey. Shop, dine in Downey, and that will produce more tax revenue because we're striving to bring on board more officers. So we're looking at different ways of bringing on more revenue. And that concludes my comments and agenda requests. I will now turn it over to our city manager, Roger Bradley, for his staff member comments.
Thank you, Mayor. Much appreciated. Just looking over some of the future agenda item requests that are on my list tonight. Wanted to make sure we had seconds from the council that you want us to work and move on these items. The first one was looking at incentives for current PD staff to increase retention. There's a second on that one. Thank you. We'll work on that. The next item was the bus shelter expansion project, looking at expanding that throughout the city. Actually, there was some other requests on council for that item previously, so we're happy to continue to work on that. Right now, we're actually looking to see what kind of resources we have available, what kind of project we could run throughout the city, and we'll be bringing that to you here shortly, most likely through the budget process for next year. The speeding issues on Guatemala, I know that staff has been working on that issue, and we're happy to provide and give you an update on that item.
And if I may, Roger,
Please.
it's Guatemala, but also along Suva. It's Suva and Guatemala. I think those are.
Yes, and I believe staff has been doing work on that and has some progress. We'll get you an update on that.
If I may also, Roger, are we also going to get the traffic assessment that pretty soon? Or
Correct. Well, it'll be here back to council by the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th. So we do have work that we're doing on that project. We have a consultant we're bringing on board to look at our local road safety plan, to look at the impacts of traffic within the community. So that will be coming back later this fiscal year. Correct. Let's see. Moving forward, I think we might have already a Downey pamphlet. We'll see about updating that and bringing that back to council.
Okay, great.
Thank you for that one. And then a couple of other items. We are happy to get the facade improvement. Got a second on that already. Happy to add that into our work plans. Code enforcement. We have been working with Walmart and Woodruff. We'll continue to look at those sites, as well as street vendors, making sure as long as they are, making sure they're compliant with our rules and regulations here in the city, and happy to make sure that we look at Christmas lights here out in the community. Yes, we realize it's Valentine's Day, and we'll put that on our list. Big Lots, we have been working with that location over there to get approval to go on the private property to do some enforcement and removing homeless from that location, so we'll continue to provide efforts on that one. As well as, I think, as you said, late night driving at the Stonewood Mall parking lot. Is that what that was?
Yes. It's late night driving. And again, we love Raising Cane's. I'm a big fan. But over the weekend, there's a lot of activity. Yes.
Happy to connect with the chief on that
Thank
one and
you.
make sure we can get some enforcement over there in the evenings. And lastly, we do have work plan in our work plan this year, looking at utility undergrounding and finding out where we can actually do that throughout the community. There are a couple of different types of utility lines. I know staff is actually out there working now to figure out the different lines, where they're at, what can and can't be undergrounded, and we'll be bringing that utility plan back to you by the end of this year. That concludes staff's comments, and turn it back over to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Okay. This is my favorite part as mayor. According to the last census, 2021 was it, Vanya? The last census puts us at 111,569 residents. We believe that the population is really somewhat higher because sometimes people go uncounted. They simply don't answer the survey. So I would say that we have about 115,000 residents. And today, of all the amazing residents that we have, as mayor, I had an opportunity to select one. And his name is David Valadez. David is a Los Angeles correspondent for El Gordo y la Flaca, and Univision. Yes, you know that show. Univision is the largest American Spanish content provider in the country. And this young man, I still see him as a young man because I look at the clips of when he started. He was in high school. He knew he wanted to be a reporter, and he was doing his thing even then. And he's a great example of what an amazing country it is. If you really want to do something, and I would say if you work hard in this country, you can achieve it. And David did that. Today, he's an Emmy Award-winning journalist. I look for excellence. It's called the Mayor's Excellence Award. So this award is centered around his excellence in journalism. He has a career that spans more than 25 years, including hosting and reporting for El Gordo y la Flaca, which is very popular. The viewership of El Gordo y la Flaca, I've been watching that for years. It's millions, right? It's a great show. Check it out on Univision. And look for, of course, Downey's own David Valadez. Currently, he's the Los Angeles-based correspondent for this show, and he's been with the show almost 18 years. He first joined in April of 2006. So your birthday's coming up. Right? He has had the privilege of, get a load of these names, captivating interviews with renowned figures in entertainment and business, including people like Michael Jackson. You interviewed Michael Jackson? That's the one concert I regret not attending in the 80s, was Michael Jackson. Vicente Fernandez, Elton John, Shakira, Ricky Martin. No, check out the show. I mean, he's like backstage at every concert. And then I see him in downtown Downey, right? He's interviewed such political leaders such as former President Trump and Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador. His exceptional talent and education continue to elevate the standards of journalistic excellence, leaving an indelible mark on the industry. He was born and raised in Southern California, where he currently resides in our great little city of Downey. And what amazes me of people like David is he can go and live the life, right, with the celebrities in Hollywood, but he chooses to stay here. And we're grateful and thankful that you continue to make this your home. He does call me once in a while to point out what's going on in the neighborhood. Downey PDs knows you're a celebrity, man. So I hope, they're busy rushing over there, right? David Valadez, we'll make sure you have that address. He's the youngest of 4 siblings, and his parents originate from our first sister city, one of the many first here in Downey, along with Taco Bell, right? And the oldest McDonald's, and the first hydrogen home in the world, and the first enclosed mall. We have the first sister city program with Guadalajara, Mexico, where his parents hail from. So he's a fellow Jalisciense. And David goes out of his way to put us on the map. And we're going to show you a clip that his Univision and David were kind enough to prepare that really shows how much this guy cares for and loves Downey. So let's watch this video.
David Valadez.
Las imágenes son increíbles, como pueden ver.
David Valadez is a reporter for over 2 decades.
Nos encontramos sobrevolando la ciudad de Calabazas.
How's your Spanish? No hablo español.
Festejando los 20 años del Gordo de la Flaca.
He joined Univision Entertainment show El Gordo y la Flaca in 2006.
Oye,
David, de verdad, qué placer. Oye, David se ha convertido en uno de los mejores reporteros nuestros en todos lados.
Hola, Lili. Hola, Raúl.
Now, Inside Edition with Deborah Norval.
Claims Vanessa told her to get out of the house.
Univision reporter Dave Valadez, who conducted the shocking interview with Vanessa's mom.
Ella me dijo, necesito que te salgas de esta casa.
Para el Gordo de la Flaca.
Claro que sí. How are you? Increíble.
Larry, how's your Spanish? ¿Hablas español?
I know nothing.
Bienvenida al Gordo de la Flaca. How are you?
I'm well.
Para el Gordo de la Flaca, ¿cómo estás?
Gordo de la Flaca.
Un regalo para Eugenio de parte del Gordo de la Flaca. Es un gusto verlo, de verdad, señor.
Igualmente. Gracias.
Los Bookies desde Oakland.
David was awarded the prestigious Emmy Award in 2015.
Hace poco Beyoncé también fue víctima de la delincuencia. Acá en vivo, en este instante, como pueden ver, están abandonando la propiedad las autoridades. Son agentes del FBI. La bienvenida a la ciudad de Los Ángeles. ¿Cómo se siente?
Muchas gracias. Bien, como siempre, en mi casa.
David Valadez is one of the most respected reporters in the entertainment business.
Felicidades por tu estrella aquí en Hollywood.
Muchas gracias.
¿Hablas español?
I don't.
¿Poquito? ¿Cómo estás?
No, I can say yes and thank you.
Paloma desde Las Vegas para el Gordo de Flaca. Gracias por todo, que te quiere.
Gracias.
Hace 14 años que nos vimos, ¿verdad?
Sí, y que me diste el jacket.
¿De acuerdo? ¿Cómo estás?
Mi español es not very good.
¿Poquito?
Un poquito.
David is where the news is.
Lo que llama la atención es de que la mercancía, nos encontramos justo en el Boulevard Hawthorne. Se está incendiando la casa. Yo soy David Valadez. Sí, no.
From Russia to Mexico.
Desde Moscú, Rusia, París, aquí en Francia, Ciudad de México, Madrid, España, Las Vegas, Nevada, Dallas, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Santa Bárbara, desde San Antonio, Texas, San Francisco, Fresno, de Tijuana, México, de San José, California. Yo estuve en el periódico de Downey, de mi ciudad.
And of course, putting Downey on the map nationwide.
La ciudad de Downey o el Beverly Hills de los mexicanos. Desde Los Ángeles, en Downey. Nos encontramos desde el suburbio de Downey, aquí en Los Ángeles. Estoy en la ciudad de Downey, aquí en Downey, California. Desde Downey, estamos desde la ciudad de Downey, aquí en Los Ángeles. Como pueden ver, hay decenas de personas afuera de esta famosa repostería Portos.
David Valadez.
Yo soy David Valadez. Nos vemos a la próxima.
There's a new show on Netflix, Griselda. David was filming live today from Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall, where they filmed the jail scene. They're not up there, but he's really close to Maná and El Último Pedator from Firmes coming, right? Yeah, those are your buddies. You're always hanging out. Tell them to come hang out in downtown Downey, right? Yeah, we love the show. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the Mayor's Excellence Award goes to David Valadez on behalf of the citizens of Downey in recognition of your outstanding achievements in the entertainment industry. You have brought honor and distinction to Downey, becoming a true ambassador for the city and an embodiment of the talent and heart that resides within its borders. Please help me recognize Downey's own David Valadez. We're going to present you with our city pin and our challenge coin. Thank you, David.
So if I get a ticket tonight, is it okay, Chief? Is it okay tonight? No, I'm just very humbled and very honored by this recognition or award by the city. Downey is home for me. Anywhere I go, if I'm overseas or anywhere around the world, I want to come back to Downey. Downey is home for me. I build a relationship with everybody. I go and I introduce myself with my neighbors, and the fact that I'm on Gordo de la Flaca, it gives me that connection with the people, because I mean, most of the residents here in Downey are Latinos and they watch the show. I've been with the show going for 18 years, like Mario said. That was a nice introduction, by the way. He nailed it and everything. But I've been with the show, and it's just like, people always tell me, what's the best part about working for El Gordo de la Flaca? Imagine that before I went on the show, my mom's favorite show was El Gordo de la Flaca. So imagine you work for the show that your mom watches like every day. It's just like, I get the goosebumps for that, because it's just, it just fulfills me, the fact that my mother watches the show and she's like my #1 fan. She's literally my #1 fan. She'll look for me. If I don't come out on the show, it's like, ¿por qué no saliste el día de hoy? But yeah, coming back to Downey, Downey is like, my friends call it, they call it, it's my ranchito, because I hang out in Downey most of the time. I'll be in downtown Downey, I'll be El Pescador, I'll be the Guardsman, the dive bar here in Downey. I go around. You'll see me anywhere here in Downey, and like Mayor Mario said, it's just home. It's just home for me, and I'm thrilled, I'm honored, and very humble that I got this recognition. Thank you to the members of the council and Mayor Pro Tem for this recognition. And yeah, thank you for this. Thank you. And that's my neighbor right there, my neighbor.
All right. Yes. So I went to a high school up north in San Francisco, Lowell High School, and I was on Spirit Squad. Back then, that's where the boys did. There was always the cheerleaders, right? Varsity cheer. But I always thought that the dance team, I thought that was just more difficult to get into, because the coordination, obviously, that's necessary. The athletic prowess for cheer is one thing, but the movements and the music, that to me, I love that. And so it is an honor for me today to recognize the Warren High School dance team. Yes. This team is comprised of a group of students who are characterized by their passion, dedication, and work ethic to dance. The team captains, who also double as student choreographers, are young leaders who exhibit remarkable dedication and a keen artistic vision that results in routines that blend creativity, precision, and innovation. I watched the videos. This commitment to their artistic expression and the team's hard work through lengthy practices has led them to achieve remarkable success by securing not 1, not 2, 3, but 4 first-place trophies across the following categories: hip-hop, show production, jazz, and lyrical. At the Hawaii World Finals competition, they were the top first-place team. In addition to their competitive success, the Warren High School dance team actively contributes to the cultural vibrancy of both school and community events through performances at various school functions and community events such as Downey Pride Festival and the City Christmas Parade. The team's accomplishments serve as a testament to their hard work, disciplined approach, and support provided by our local community. It is through this combination of talent, leadership, and community backing that Warren High School dance team continues to thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me recognize the Warren High School dance team. So we have an overall certificate that I will be giving to who's the leader? Come on up here. Come on up here. So the Mayor's Excellence Award is presented to the Warren High School dance team in recognition of your outstanding performance and for placing first place in the following categories, which I just read off, given this 13th day of February. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Mrs. Amaya, everybody. And now, as I say your name, please come forward. Kayan Bautista. Cindy Echavarria. Madison Garcia. Jasmine Hernandez. Sara Lopez Cabrera. Judith Luna. Hannah Michelle. Maya Muñoz. Daniel Noguera. Aulani Olivares. Samantha Perez Rios. Diego Pichal. Okay, Diego. Nicole Rivas. Liliana Robles. Brianna Robles. Cassandra Saldana. Isabela Saucedo. Abigail Segura. Elashe Seltzer. Manuel Uriarte. Alexandra Villavicencio. Let's not forget our managers, Wilani Abner, Jada Iglesias, and our staff members, Kaylee Tomas and Leticia Anaya. You can help me. All right. So let's get a picture, and we got to get David in here so we can hopefully make it on Univision. So we'll put David in the middle, all right? All right. So come on. All right. Yeah. Council members, please join us. All right. Let's get one with David because he has to catch a plane or something. All right. So we're doing a video. Everybody get all excited. All right, picture. Let's go. My colleagues are coming. All right. Can we see everybody? Squeeze in, people. Okay. Okay. Can you see the cameras? If you cannot see the cameras, they can't see you. All right, now I'll do a little video. We're gonna do a little video. Turn your videos on. Everybody ready? Just say woo. 1, 2, 3, go Bears. 2, 3, go Bears. 1, 2, 3, go Bears. Ready? Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, go Bears. Thank you, everybody. If you want to stay down here. Hector? Yeah. Congratulations, everyone. All right. So now, thank you. Now we want to bring forth our commission members just to recognize our newly appointed commissioners. In District 1 Public Works, Michelle Brookins. In District 1 Public Works, Deanna Janczak. District 1 Recreation and Community Services, Lisa Adrian. And District 2 Public Works, Elvira Meraz. All right. Let's go. Get a picture? Picture? this, we get to city business, so I assume most of you are gonna go and it's okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay. I will now take public comment on agenda, consent calendar, and non-agenda items. If you did not receive a number card and wish to speak, please proceed to the back of the room to be issued a number card by city staff. Before we begin the public comment period, I would like to remind members of the audience that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Copies of the meeting rules are located in the back of the chambers. Members of the audience and speakers who violate these rules and cause a disruption will receive a one warning and then may be removed from the meeting. Violations of the rules of decorum for council meetings may also result in an administrative fine under the municipal code or citation for a misdemeanor under Penal Code Section 403. The City Council acknowledges the right of the public to address issues that are within the city's jurisdiction and invites the public to do so during the City Council meeting. However, this right must be balanced with the need of the City Council to conduct the public business in a fair, efficient manner for disturbance. We expect that everyone who participates in today's meeting, from the members of the council here on the dais to staff to the members of the public in attendance, do so with respect and dignity. Please refrain from using profanity, name-calling, or behaving in a way that disrupts the meeting. This includes yelling, whistling, booing, screaming, and any other outburst that disrupts or disturbs the meeting. Any conduct that interferes with or disrupts persons who are addressing the city council. Any conduct that interferes with or disrupts council members while they are speaking. And any other conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Attacks of a personal nature on city staff or city council members that have no connection to agenda items or non-agenda items. I remind speakers that your comments must be addressed to me directly and not to any other council members, city staff, or the audience. Deputy City Clerk Ty, did we receive any written public comment to be incorporated into the record?
Yes, Mayor, we received 2 written public comments, one from Roland Phoenix, a resident who commented in support of the installation of lights at Furman Park, and from Angelica Ciordia, a resident who commented in opposition to the installation of lights at Furman Park.
Thank you. Is there a motion and a second to receive and file written public comment?
So moved.
Thank you. Deputy City Clerk Ty, how many speakers have taken a number?
Mayor, there are 6 people so far, but may we take a vote, please, regarding the written public comment?
Yes. We will now vote regarding receiving written public comment.
Okay.
Please vote. Just public comment.
Okay, thank you. The motion passes.
Okay. Based on the number of speakers, each speaker will have 3 minutes to address the city council. I remind all speakers that you must remain seated until your number is called. Speaker number 1, please come forward. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor Trujillo and council members. My name is Tom Milhouse. I live on Auto Street here in Downey. I just want to say it's wonderful to live in a city like Downey. Everything here today has been tremendous to see, and I'm sure everybody here feels the same way. What a great town to live in. I want to thank the Director of Public Works, Matthew Baumgartner. I came here to the council meeting a few months ago, and I mentioned the condition of Auto Street where I live, and it's pretty sad shape. I learned that the city has plans to do everything north of Florence and everything east of Lakewood Boulevard is going to receive the city's attention for street repairs, including Auto Street. And a few weeks ago, I called Public Works to talk about some of the potholes on the street that have gotten really bad. And I want to thank Matt Baumgartner and his city crew for coming out the very next day. They did a wonderful job. They filled about 20 potholes. I went out and talked to a few of the guys and mentioned some more that they had a chance to take a look at and repair. And so our street is still pretty bumpy, but at least we don't have the holes in the street that we had until recently. So thank you very, very much. There's so much that goes into making a city great, and street repair doesn't sound very dramatic, but it's a good part of what gets done. And thank you all for the work that you do, and thank you, Mr. Baumgartner, for you and your crew's work on Auto Street.
Thank you, sir, for taking the time to come and recognize the hard work of our department. We appreciate that.
You're welcome, Mayor. Thank you.
Speaker number 2, please come forward. Good evening.
Recently on the radio, I heard a man give an excellent pro-life speech. Tonight, I will simply tell you how he ended his speech. He said, "Follow us on social media at Life Issues Institute. I hope you access this valuable information. And remember these ancient words of Solomon, the thoughts of the righteous are just."
Thank you. Speaker number 3, please come forward.
All right, boy, it's a lot of feel-good, happy talk up here today, but we don't have enough money for more police. We can take lateral movements, I guess. We can take Compton's worse and put them in Downey, maybe. I don't know. That's what Luna would do. Send them over here. But we're supposedly 10 short. We need 19 new officers. But we need more tax money. Like we haven't been taxed enough from you folks. And you want more. You continue to want more. You've expanded government at every turn you could. That shows us that there is no America First candidates up here. There's no representation for America First pro-human politicians. You are anti-human, you're for higher taxation, you're for a corrupt judicial system, which you have to skip around 3 or 4 judges before you can find one that might rule in your favor. And that Armando Herman is no exception to that rule, and Mr. Trump has found a lot of this out as well. So let's not get carried away with ourselves. However, the corruption is continually flowing. Number 2, we're going to have a John Co. West janitorial outfit from Eastvale. Mr. Bradley, is it Eastvale or Corona they're from? Let us know. All right. It's going to be $400 and something thousand. And the number 4, the Kiwanis Club wants a foursome donation. They're a nonprofit. They can raise their own money privately. You don't need to take residents' money for these activities. These are corrupt nonprofits. They're just slime pits of money laundering. That's all it is. And it's for you folks to serve yourselves and your friends, not the residents. That's why you're doing it. Number 5, sponsorship, Rancho Los Amigos, Amistad Gala, $3,000 for a table. Well, that's county work. Talk to Janice Hahn. She's got plenty of money. We don't need to do the paving around her courthouse over there either, or wherever you want to do it. But that's the state that the city is in. The city is in decline. It is sliding down the pit, and it's because of liberal Democrats like you that have got us to this point. There is not one America First conservative up here, not one. So no matter how hard you try to paint a picture that it's all rosy, we have a narco DA, George Gascon's buddy. We have narco Barbies gonna be at the Women's Empowerment Expo. Not one of those women are standing up for girls getting beat up playing sports, either in high school, college, or in the professional ranks. Thank you.
Speaker number 4, please come forward. Speaker number 4. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. David Bowers, 10620 Dolan Avenue, Downey, California. Now that we are well into 2024, I want to drop by to give some advice to our current and new members of City Council. If you want to make it to the state or national level, I suggest you be caught in a compromising situation so you can be blackmailed into voting the way the nefarious groups and parties behind the scenes want you to. Or if you really want to show moxie and accelerate your political career, I suggest you take the fat white number 10 envelope or envelopes filled with greenish pieces of paper. It appears, unfortunately, the latter will be the fastest way for you to climb the ladder. Perhaps, however, you can step up and prove you are an American that respects and understands what the U.S. Constitution is about. What is it about? Trying to make a government limited so it does not grow to the size of this decrepit, corrupt U.S. empire. Please keep in mind your role is not to frustrate the liberties of the people of America. Neither is it your job to support some far-off, rich, corrupt kleptocrat and their control issues. Support their control issues, whatever. Finally, remember, your titles are worthless, your edifices are worthless, and your laws are worthless when you forget two things. Moral authority is terrible to waste, and hubris overtakes reason too often, much too often. Have a good night.
Thank you. Speaker number 5, please come forward. Speaker number 5. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Mr. Bradley, and staff. I want to talk to you a little bit about our country that affects us all. Our country seems to be in a state of going down the tubes. I want to specifically talk about current government policies that may affect us all. From the state level, our governor has decided as of January 1st to provide illegal immigrants the right to have a sex change depending on their financial situation. I tend to disagree with that. I think that money could be spent for other purposes. On the federal level, our president, with regards to Ukraine, our country has given over $75 billion, with a B, money to help that country. As long as the U.S. decides to play a neutral game with Russia, neither side will probably win the battle. And if that continues, our country will spend a lot more money needlessly. We either need to decide to win the battle with Russia or get out. With regards to Mr. Biden again, he has decided to basically free student debt from over 80,000 students. I'm not a student today. I'm sure if I was, I would be very grateful to have my student debt eliminated. But since I'm not a student, I think that money hurts all those people in the past and in the future that will decide to pay their own way. And lastly, with regards to Mr. Biden, and I'm picking on him now, he's decided recently to basically prevent all federal employees from getting on TikTok. And yet, the last 2 days, our president is on TikTok. All I can say is my thoughts of trusting politicians is diminished very greatly. This ends my comments. I yield my remaining time back to you.
Thank you. Speaker number 6, please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Ian Jamieson. I am with California Leftists for Freedom, an anti-COVID mandates group. I also happen to be a free speech absolutist. In re, the restraining order that was granted against Armando Herman on February 2nd by Judge Randall F. Pacheco, who is either an idiot, corrupt, or both. My guess is the latter. I'd like to point out 2 things. One, Brandenburg v. Ohio 395 U.S. 444, 1969, set the imminent lawless action test for determining the constitutionality of speech. If speech only does not enjoy the constitutional protections of the First Amendment if the threat issued in the speech is A, intended to produce or incite imminent lawless action, and also likely to induce imminent lawless action. Armando Herman is a clown. Nobody here takes him seriously. The allegation in the city's RO filings that he represented a threat is utterly ridiculous, but even if he did represent a threat, even if he did make threats, nobody was going to follow through on anything he said. And again, if nobody was likely to follow through on anything he said, Brandenburg establishes that his speech was constitutionally protected. But what I really want to talk about is Cohen v. California, 403 U.S. 15, 1971, which set out, quote, while the particular 4-letter word being litigated here, this was in the case of Paul Robert Cohen, who in 1968 wore a "fuck the draft" shirt in a Los Angeles Superior Court, is perhaps more distasteful than most others of its genre, it is nevertheless often true that one man's vulgarity is another man's lyric. Indeed, we think it is largely because governmental officials cannot make principled distinctions in the area that the Constitution leaves matters of taste and style so largely to the individual. Indeed, as Mr. Justice Frankfurter has said, quote, one of the prerogatives of American citizenship is the right to criticize public men and measures, and that means not only informed and responsible criticism, but the freedom to speak foolishly and without moderation, Baumgarten v. U.S., 1944. Finally, and in the same vein, we cannot indulge the facile assumption that one can forbid particular words without also running a substantial risk of suppressing ideas in the process. Indeed, governments might soon seize upon the censorship of particular words as a convenient guise for banning the expression of unpopular views. We have been able, as noted above, to discern little social benefit that might result from running the risk of opening the door to such grave results. I just want to say to all of the government dissenters in LA County, County Board of Supervisors, City Councils, school board meetings, by allowing this assault on Armando Herman's First Amendment rights, you have allowed corrupt government bureaucrats across this county to assault your First Amendment rights. You are next. This entire City Council can go fuck itself. You are all authoritarians raping the U.S. Constitution. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Speaker number 7, please come forward. Mr. Martinez, that would be your first warning.
So continuing on with the themes of the previous speakers, what you've done to Mr. Herman is so ridiculous. You know, we don't have to agree with what he says to know that it's constitutionally protected speech, as Mr. Saab used to say. But of course, the corruptocrats have completely taken over, especially in that speech that Ms. Frometa gave, where she's saying that, oh, thank you so much to our city attorney. So what actually happened there is that the previous city attorney, Ms. Langer, refused to do what he's now done. And that's because, you know, she was kind of an outsider. She was a contractor. She had a future. Whereas, you know, Mr. Funk over here has decided to sell himself out to the whims of the city. That is his function, hence he's an employee. They didn't want someone elected. I advocated for it to be elected as a position for the city attorney. They said no. They said no to a contractor. They want an employee, someone they can directly tell what to do. And that's indeed what they're doing. He's silencing so many other people too. He's not keeping them in check. You know, Langer used to always keep them from discussing things in a legal way. She was like, oh, that's Brown, it's the Brown Act, it's the Brown Act. I'm sure that's no longer happening. It is now a totally criminally run city because let's just take a look at, okay, so the speaker number 4 mentioned this ridiculous thing that you have on the agenda where you're giving a contract to the mayor is leaving apparently. Okay, so maybe, so there's this, firm that you want to award janitorial services to. What is up with that firm? Nobody believes that, okay, there were 13 applications, and then of the 13, oh, it's the one that you pick is the previous from Corona, or is it from Eastvale? They said they're from Eastvale, but then in your contract, you said they're from Corona. You're hiding something, and I wonder if it has to do with Mr. Bradley, because, hey, that he's coming from Corona. Really? The odds of, 1 out of the 13, oh, it's that one that he's coming from? This just smacks of corruption, just like all of Mr. Trujillo's, the mayor, little infomercials. So, right, we've been hearing about how this chicken establishment, he gives us the exact address, it's real good. Now we're hearing about Univision and La Flaca, El Gordo de la Flaca. Like, I wonder, is he getting paid to do this? This is ridiculous. The way that he has literally been sounding like an infomercial is beyond ridiculous. It seems unethical, and I do think that he should fork up. How much is he getting for that, if at all? If he's not getting anything, then let's have a notary statement. Let's have, oh, I'm not getting any gifts, he'll say, tell us. And same thing from Ms. Fermetta. Let's have all those reviews of all the gifts. Oh, you don't get any gifts on your 700. Nobody believes that.
Thank you, Rodolfo. Speaker number 8.
I want to start off by saying that I'm still find it hilarious that Fermetta couldn't become mayor again. You're a joke. You don't have the support. You're clearly beneath Trujillo, who's a thug and a criminal. So where does that put you on the scale? Pretty pathetic. You're acting like a billboard, Trujillo. What's going on? Like, is the chicken place paying you? You are literally serving as an infomercial, which, by the way, seems like a gift of public funds, right? You're using city time, your city position as mayor, to give awareness and free press to these entities that are private businesses. I'm gonna write you up for that because that's a violation. The frivolous lawsuit that you guys engaged against Herman, the restraining order, I know that you guys have friends in the courts. These lower courts are pathetic. They're essentially functioning as banks and attack guards against the people. We're gonna have to challenge the position of that judge, and I think that in the higher courts it'll be easily overridden and overturned, which I look forward to. Also, Trujillo, you talked about what Coca-Cola is doing with air, but you haven't talked about the PFAS or all the forever chemicals that are carcinogens in our water that have been there since 5 years already. I've been coming here for like 5 years telling you about the contaminations. When I first started coming here, there were 5 contaminated wells. Now we have up to 20. Fermetta, who was a pathetic mayor during her time, lied about the contamination. And it wasn't until the state forced the city to tell its community that papers were actually sent out confirming what we had been saying all the time, that there was contaminants in the water. I hope you're proud of lying to the people about telling them that there's potential poison in their water, contaminating them every day that could cause them to get sick and die. You're sick. I want to know if Trujillo, if you are going to be working on a case involving Luis Rojas at Central Basin. He's been indicted on 18 counts, including embezzling and perjury. So those are just one of the few. And I want to know what your involvement is and if you will be reporting that in your paperwork to see if you're getting paid for that. The Corona contract, it's a weird coincidence that we're starting to send money to where one of our staff employees currently came from. This is not unheard of. It's quite common. If you want to follow where the money's coming from and where it's going, I would really look into that. And if you are involved in some kind of gift of public funds or favoritism, we'll follow up and we'll write you up too. You're not the first manager that's been here, and people have lost their job for more things. Last and not least, free Palestine and stop the genocide.
Speaker number 9, please come forward. Speaker number 9.
Hello, I'm Joaquin Beltran. I'm running for Congress here in Southeast LA and Long Beach. Mi nombre es Joaquín Beltrán. Estoy corriendo para el Congreso. And today, I want to share with you why a vote for me is a vote for jobs and not bombs, a vote for healthcare and housing, a vote for justice and peace, not jokers and politicians that are harming our economy, our health, and our future. Today, I stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people in calling for an end to the genocide, to this US-backed Israeli genocide of the indigenous Palestinian people. I'm calling for a permanent ceasefire, for Downey to call for a permanent ceasefire, and put pressure on our congressional leaders, Robert Garcia, who is currently in Congress and doing nothing but lip service, calling on the president to take action instead of funding weapons and support that are leading to mass atrocities. I'm calling on Downey State Council to affirm the International Court of Justice's preliminary findings that Israel is plausibly committing genocide. Take that in. International Court of Justice, that Israel is plausibly committing genocide right now. And what have you said? What have the council members said about that? Nothing? Do we not care about human life? Human life is sacred. We should care and we should take action. Over 35,000 have been murdered, nearly half children. If one child died, that is a tragedy. Half of 35,000 are children. And what are we doing? Over 115 reporters, journalists, over 100 UN workers. Rafah was said to be a safe zone, where they had all the Palestinians from northern Gaza, some central Gaza, to go and stay safe. And now Israel is bombing it with weapons provided by the US government, by our tax dollars. In fact, nearly every year we are sending nearly 700 million of our taxpayer dollars for what? To commit these atrocities? It is wrong. That money should be spent here at home on healthcare, on housing, on free public education, on student loan forgiveness, on small businesses. Are we not human? Do we not feel? Do we not care? We should. Free Palestine.
Speaker number 10. Speaker number 10.
Hi, my name is Michelle Farina. I'm a lifelong resident of Downey. I'm here to urge the city of Downey to propose and pass a ceasefire resolution in Gaza for a cessation of hostilities and release of hostages on all sides. Please follow the example of nearby cities, Long Beach, Cudahy, Montebello, for example. Israel is using genocidal language to justify its assault on the people of Gaza. This can't continue. I wonder if you've seen the images of children bleeding, missing limbs, burned so badly they are not recognizable. Have you seen parents gathering pieces of their children out of the rubble? Have these images broken your heart the way it has broken mine? Please, I implore you, call for a ceasefire now. We want to send a clear mandate onto higher government to use its influence and call for a ceasefire. This matters. You have influence. Please hear our calls and please do something. I used to sit in history class, horrified by what I was learning, wondering what I would do had I been alive at the time. Here and now is that time. We have no excuse for ignoring the mass murder when there's something we could have done about it. I, for one, cannot live with myself if I don't speak up. Please do something. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker number 10. Okay, seeing no more speakers, is there a motion and a second to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
So ordered by the mayor. Now is the time for consent calendar items. Are there any council members that would like to remove or abstain from an item?
Mayor Trujillo, I'd like a clarification on number 4 before we take a vote. I'd like to have a clarification. Is this an actual expenditure for a foursome to play or a donation item that is not?
City Manager?
Yeah, this is the donation of a foursome to play that the organization, the Kiwanis, can auction off for value so they can make as a fundraiser for their organization.
So an auction item, not a foursome of city officials playing?
That's correct.
Okay, okay. That's what I want to clarify. I know a lot of residents have concerns and something like that on an expenditure. Thank you.
Any other questions regarding any of the items or any motions to pull any of the items? Seeing none, is there a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar? We have a
Second.
motion and a second. Please vote.
The motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you. There are 2 administrative reports this evening. I will be taking item number 8 first, as I will need to recuse myself from item number 7 due to the proximity of my downtown properties to the parking structure. So item number 8 is the update on the citywide bicycle master plan. That the City Council receive and file a report on the citywide bicycle master plan, including the next phase of work currently in design. City Manager Bradley, is there a staff report on item number 8?
Yes, Mayor, we have Matt Baumgartner, our Director of Public Works, who will provide the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Just bear with me one second while I bring up the presentation. There we go. Thank you. Staff is presenting an update on our citywide bicycle master plan, and I wanted to provide excuse me. Sorry, I'm having a little trouble with the cursor. Bear with me one second. Oh, sorry. A little bit of background on this project. The goal to develop a bicycle master plan, our BMP, was adopted by our city council in 2005 as part of our general plan circulation element. In March of 2013, council approved a $250,000 agreement with Caltrans to help us develop that BMP. The BMP was developed over a 2-year period and focused on 5 key areas: improved mobility through the city through new bicycle infrastructure, reducing congestion caused by vehicle traffic, reduce greenhouse gas emissions related to those reduced trips, increase safety for bicyclists and motorists, and enhancing the local economy by improving access to business.
First Amendment, motherfuckers!
A little more background for you. In May of 2014, City Council awarded a professional service agreement with Fair and Peers, who developed the bicycle master plan for the city. As part of that project, they did extensive data collection and public outreach done in 2014 through workshops and special events that were held at events like summer concerts at the park, our tour to Downey, and then just different events in the city. As well as community surveys that are done to seek input. Some of those key issues that are identified during that outreach and the data collection, including that people felt discouraged from biking due to speeding and lack of bike lanes. They also felt there was no connection between the 2 bike paths that are on both sides of the city, on the east and west sides of the city, and also a lack of connection between the Green Line station and neighborhoods in Downey. A phased approach to implementing the BMP was developed, and that phase 1 includes Class 2 and Class 3 bike routes, which I'll provide some photos for you a little bit later. Class 2 are the designated dedicated bike lanes, striped as such, as well as Class 3 bike routes, which are the markings that just show that the bikings are shared with motorists on the road. This project also includes bike parking for bikes along the routes, as well as wayfinding signage to direct the community who wishes to use our bike paths. There are also 2 other phases that are longer range, our enhanced Class 3 bike routes coupled with traffic calming, further out, as well as long-term projects such as bike bridges. These sort of longer-range projects obviously require a lot of planning and funding, and so they kind of put those out further out into the future. Our City Council adopted the BMP in July of 2015, and not long after that, the city went after and received a $2.3 million grant through Metro for a call for projects. As is common with these call for projects with Metro, it can sometimes take a number of years to actually have those funds programmed because a lot of cities are getting awarded funds, and the city received that funding in 2019. In 2020, City Council awarded a professional service agreement with KOA for the Phase 1 design. And this includes 10.5 miles of Class 2 bike lanes on Downey Avenue, Brookshire Avenue, Columbia Way, Woodruff Avenue, Gallatin Road, and Foster Road, as well as the Class 3 bike routes on Brookshire Avenue, Stewart and Gray, and Columbia Way. This project also includes 100 bicycle parking facilities, 50 wayfinding signs, traffic signal modifications to better detect bicyclists at intersections. And to this point, about 90% of the project is completed in design. And we are basically waiting on moving forward on some of these projects and implementing the Phase 1 construction because of paving that's still in play. This is a map that was included as part of the 2015 BMP, and it shows a lot of the proposed routes that go along our arterials, both north, south, and east-west. And it also includes those two orange lines on the east and west side are the dedicated bike paths that would be connected to each other through the development of these bike lanes. I wanted to talk to you a little bit also about another way we can go after, addressing some of the bike plans, the bike lanes and bike routes that are in the master plan. As part of the Old River School Pavement Rehabilitation Project that was conducted in 2021, staff, in addition to repaving a 1.4 mile section of Old River School Road between Imperial Highway and Arnett Street, there was also bike lanes and bike routes that were included as part of that. The Class 2 bike lanes are to the south of Old River Elementary to Emily Lane is about 0.5 miles, as well as the majority of it, 2/3 of this are the bike routes. And if you look at those photos, you'll see in front of the schools, the Sharrow symbol. There's really no change into the configuration of the lanes or anything like that. There's just the Sharrow marking showing that this is in front of the schools. This is simply a shared bike lane, shared bike route that motorists and bicyclists just share the road there. And as you move south of the school in the second photo over there to the right, you'll see that these are Class 2 bike lanes that start, and those continue down to just about Emily Lane for about 0.5 miles. This is some before and after photos of that 0.5 mile section between Emily Lane and just south of the school. This shows you there's 2 lanes in each direction, separated by a double yellow line, and parking on both sides of the street. And how this was restriped for that 0.5 mile section shows how bike lanes, with keeping the parking on both sides of the street, dedicated bike lanes, these are the Class 2 bike lanes, so this is a good view of what the Class 2 bike lanes look like. Now there's 2 lanes along with a road diet, which allows for left turn movements. As part of this project, outreach was conducted with communities and schools prior to the project. The project elements, including the bike lanes, were shared with the community, and no opposition was registered. One of the benefits that staff has noted of using the Class 2 lanes is that they narrow the visual path and reduce speeds. Safety studies have shown that Class 2 lanes have not caused increases in collisions or congestion. And I did gather some recent collision data to show that during a 4-year period prior to the lanes going in, we had recorded 70 collisions along this stretch. In the last roughly year and a half worth of data, there were 15 collisions. It's slightly reduced over time, so it just goes to support that the Class 2 lanes are not causing any issues. It's additional issues related to collisions along this section of the road. Staff have also seen a significant reduction in complaints that we used to get. We used to get quite a few complaints of speeding for this particular half-mile section of Old River School Road. And in talking with staff, we really don't receive any calls anymore since we put those in. I'm going to go back to that photo real quick because one of the things I just wanted to mention is this road diet, the center section. What it does is it allows for southbound and northbound traffic along this section here to move into that middle section to make safe left turns into driveways. And this is important because when you just have the double yellow line that we previously had, excuse me, well, the double yellow line really, what it does is it doesn't allow, thank you. Oh, sorry. The double yellow line, when you're trying to make a left across that, you really don't have, you have speed coming up for you, coming up behind you quite rapidly, and we have to back up traffic in order to wait to make a safe left turn. So again, the idea is if you can move into that center delineated section, you can safely store there, wait for your turn to make a left turn, and no longer be impacting traffic behind you. So this is an important safety feature of these road diets that go along with the bike paths, these bike lanes. And with that, I'm just providing an update for you tonight, and happy to answer any questions you might have on our bicycle master plan.
Thank you. Do any council members have any questions or comments?
I do, Mayor. Thank you. Matt, thank you for this report. I greatly appreciate it. Now, do we have this this particular slide in our report?
Yes, this is one of the.
The one that has going from 70 accidents to 15.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I kind of collected some additional data just to support that point. I think I did make the point that no increase in congestion or collisions, but I just was pulling some recent data for tonight.
Thank you for that. I appreciate the report. One of the things that that we have heard again and again, and particularly, and I'm glad we're having a conversation about Old River School Road, is we have not seen that bike lane utilized very much. And for whatever reason, we do have those two schools. What we do see is the complaints from individuals that, again, going from the 4 lanes to 2 lanes has, particularly during the school time, has increased the traffic. So I'm perhaps okay to assume that because we've reduced the lanes, now we've got more congestion, so there's not that speeding perhaps, and therefore less number of accidents. I'm concerned that while we want to support a master bike plan in our city, and when the initial master plan was adopted in 2005, and we've done a couple of revisions, I think we really need to look at, as a council, what is, with the growth of our city, what is making sense? We want to increase mobility and bike transportation. We do hear that from the residents, but in this particular case, I'm not so sure that it was so well thought out. And instead of, yes, it alleviates something, but I certainly don't see people using this bike lane as it was intended. And I think that we've created an unintended consequence, and that is the traffic coming in and out of those schools is significant. Maybe I'm speaking out loud, but I really or I'm thinking out loud. I'm not really sure, and I appreciate this information, but I still, as we continue to move forward, and perhaps as a council, this is something that we really need to discuss and strategize over. we need to define what is going to make sense for this community. And Mayor Trujillo, you mentioned it earlier during your comments. Downey is so centrally located, and we are surrounded by freeways. And this was intended to provide, from point A to the Green Line. But I don't see that previous councils really looked at the unintended consequences and the true benefit of this one. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop.
I agree actually with my council colleague, Claudia, sorry. In my time, I've never seen anybody bike in these lanes. My question is to staff is, what would happen? What is the cost for us to go back to a 2-lane? Is it something that we have to cover, or is it part of restructuring and part?
Well, I want to piggyback off council member from Meto's comments. So I live in that district. I drive up and down Old River all the time. I'm just curious, and this is before you came on, Matt, but how was that area chosen? Because I actually never see any bikes. I've made the comment, I feel like jumping on my bike and driving down that lane just to make use of it, but I've never seen any bikes really on Old River School Road.
Well, I think as part of the development of the bicycle master plan, it's looking for several north, south, and east-west connections, usually along our arterials. Old River School being a good candidate in that it doesn't have the higher traffic volumes that you might see on some of the major arterials. And so it allows for that north-south movement a little bit easier. And to answer your question, this particular section is supported in terms of being able to narrow it down. The reason why it's south of the school, because everything north of at the school and northbound is all of that class 3, just putting the marking on there saying this is shared between bikes and motorists. But this portion here is a section that's supported by the traffic volumes, the data that was collected by the consultant. And again, they did extensive data collection to support that the volumes aren't so heavy that we couldn't do this sort of reduction.
So that far lane, I'm sure the people who park on the east side there appreciate it because it's kind of
a buffer zone.
Yeah, it's a buffer zone. But I'm not sure if the public's clear that they can actually drive down that lane.
Yeah, I think
it's a shared lane with bicyclists that don't exist.
Oh, you're talking about
it's a shared lane, right? You can drive down
yeah.
that list, right?
Yeah. You're talking about the markings that are on,
yes. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which one's a shared lane? I'm sorry, on the picture here, are we talking about, or?
Yeah, on the east side,
I'm sorry.
That one, yeah.
We had the picture up, but I'm just saying on the east side where most of the apartments are, I think a lot of people don't understand you can actually use that lane in a car, in an automobile.
Yeah, that particular marking it designates it as it's just notification to motorists that bicyclists are also sharing the road with them. That's the intention of it, but it's not a delineated lane that squeezes them out of the way or anything like that.
I traveled Old River a lot as well, and I was one when this was happening to say, why are we getting rid of lanes? But on the flip side, I haven't seen cars go 50 miles an hour and pass me by like they used to. And I haven't seen a lot of cars being sideswiped, parked on the side like they used to. There hasn't been a jam between Firestone, other than when school's coming out for 1 hour, but between Firestone and Imperial Highway. The cars are now regulated at the speed they should be, and that's a huge plus. It's slowing down the traffic. No, I haven't seen anyone in the bike lane, but this is a way to slow down the traffic, and nobody can go around that person doing the speed limit. So it adds a lot of benefit as well, especially with a lot of kids leaving from school. It's a safer area than it was before. That's all I'll say.
I agree. When I asked about these bike lanes, the best answer that made me feel a little better was it's a traffic calming measure, which ultimately saves lives. So I get it. But something tells me that if you were to conduct a study about how many bicycles are going there, it's going to be very few. And so then we will be left with the option of restriping everything. that we go back to 2 lanes in each direction. And I would want to hear about the congestion. How bad is the congestion to merit that? I think it's time we go back to look at that, and so that this council at least is presented with the options. Number one, we confirm what we suspect, very little use, and then how important is traffic calming measures to us versus reducing traffic, right?
I agree, because, and I think public safety is top of mind for all of us, absolutely. But I also think that if we are looking at including perhaps traffic lanes to areas that, for example, let's take an example, Downey Avenue between Stewart and Gray and Imperial, right? That we hear a lot of complaints about speeding, or Brookshire north of Florence between that and Gallatin, or Florence between Firestone and Imperial. Does that mean that we would be then contemplating to get bike lanes in those thoroughfares as a calming measure, right? So I'm just saying we also need to define, yes, these are traffic calming measures, but what is the real impact and benefit of these? I get it. We're gonna make some bike, happy bike coalitions very happy, but are they being used? Are we investing, and that's why I think it's so important, and the community doesn't realize it, that when you have councils, when you've got, and hear me out here, folks, when you've got councils such as in Downey that are only limited by 2 terms, right? You have councils that make tremendous amount of decisions that cost, decades and have major implications for other councils to come and clean up.
Yes. So other traffic calming measures, speed bumps. If we were to go back to 4 lanes, it's either put an officer there during heavy peak time to get the word out, you're going to get a ticket, right? If you're speeding at this time, particularly because of the children near the school, or we had speed bumps. Are there other traffic calming measures that we could consider?
There definitely are other options for us to explore. I'd say if the council is interested in, I guess, decommissioning this stretch, what we would look for this evening is some direction to go out and study that, because it would take, there's lots of different impacts that we might not be aware of. I know this is, the bike master plan is a part of our circulation element, and so there is some general plan implications as a result of changing some of this. There was a grant that we had. There might be some need to refund some of that money. We have to pay for the cost of doing this, and as well as the partnership. So this is a network with other communities as well, the bike network, and so there is some partnership implications for other communities. We're happy to study it, but we just want to make sure tonight that if that's the desire, we'd ask that you give us an opportunity to study it and then come back again and have a more detailed conversation about this particular stretch of street and what changing it would entail.
I think we should study it. I want to know how many people are using it. Well, because that will confirm what we suspect, and then we'll have to decide either we leave it alone or we step up, incur the cost, and get some relief for our residents when it comes to traffic congestion, which is a priority for this council.
Well, and to say that, the reason I bring all these things up too, and we're having this discussion, is because as we also look at areas, and I know we're talking to a few members in the audience tonight, but those of you watching via YouTube, and hopefully those that will watch later to the recording, is this city must build housing, and that is a mandate by the state of California. This is not because this council all of a sudden thinks it's a great idea, let's build. But remember, there is the regional housing needs assessment, the RENA numbers, and somehow Sacramento thinks Downey must build over 6,000 units. We cannot build 6,000 units in Downey. We're already dense. However, we still are mandated to look at vacant lands and look at housing and build housing. So as we look at, our strategic and our master plan and all of this, this council is tasked with looking at, as we are looking at the bike master plan, how does this play into the future of this city and the potential developments that we're going to be considering very soon or in the near future. And I think this is important for our residents to consider. This is not because we are just wanting to build nilly-willy. This is a mandate that as a local government, we have to do. And so the bike lanes and all of this all plays into that. So I agree, we need to study it, and I hate to have the staff, go on a wild goose chase, but I think as we consider this other plans, we need to have a better idea of whether we go back or we keep it.
I'd like to just finalize a comment. If I can see analyzing, do we need bike lanes and closing off lanes that are arteries, that are causing traffic? But if you look at this picture here, you've passed the school already. You're on your way to Imperial Highway South. There hasn't been any congestion where people are waiting 2 and 3 and 4 lights to turn on Imperial. There are other areas that people are waiting 2 and 3 lights to turn to get past to where they need to. All that would do by eliminating the bike lane is speed up the traffic to get to the same light they need to turn to. We can look at where schools are in the way of a bike path, where we are eliminating in the future. But I think to go back here into the cost of restriping and redoing, I feel this area is working fine. Let's analyze areas where traffic is congested. For example, by Paramount and Gallatin, there's a light there that needs to be adjusted. We're going to work on. There's other areas where people need egress and they need a lot more time to get out. That's not happening. There's your traffic jams. This is not causing a problem to stripe at people coming north on Old River. You have 2 lanes. Now what are they going to do? They're just going to be going faster, and you're by a school.
Right.
And this is a way to control the speed by a school. To me, that is more important. Parents have to get up a little bit earlier or walk, but...
No, you're right, Dorothy,
Yeah.
but I also think, what time of the day was this taken? Was it at 10 a.m.? What time of the day and what day of the week, right? Because the same way, there may be in our busiest intersections, and you've got a great point. I agree with you. There may be some areas, even in with Florence Avenue, or even Stewart and Gray, there may be times of the day where it's not as busy, and we take a photograph. So when was this taken, and have we even looked at?
Sorry, this was just taken from Google Earth, so I can kind of show you the full profile there. So
Okay.
that was the purpose of just giving you.
I'd just like to add, and I agree with my colleague, Councilmember Pemberton. She brings some very valid points. You did allude to the fact that we've seen traffic violations go down or speeding go down. So another street that I probably frequent the most in our town is Stewart and Gray Road, mainly around Old River, Reeves, Downey Avenue, Brookshire. And I witnessed a ton of speeding, burning of red lights, and people say, well, hey, let's have more patrol officer. And I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. It's very competitive. Cities are kind of poaching officers from each agency, and it's kind of, it's kind of a going back and forth, but we have a shortage of officers, which means we have a shortage of patrol officers. People have to understand that. We have 20 schools, 20 plus schools, 20 schools within Downey Unified, and then we have Catholic and Christian schools throughout the city as well. So without that extra patrol, again, I have to go back to what my council colleague Pemberton said. That sticks out for me. That's my district. If there's there's less traffic violations or less speeding, I'm interested in that. I'm interested in hearing more about a study, but I think also education, people need to understand that they can drive down that lane as well. So thank you.
So today we're tasked with filing or receiving the citywide master plan report and giving some guidance on the next phase of work currently in design. Is anyone prepared to make a motion yet, or any further discussion?
No, I'd like to make a motion, but I would also like to propose that we study, certain areas, before we make any final decisions. Because, again, without repeating myself, I think in what the rest of the council has indicated, it's important for us to study certain avenues, certain locations that could potentially have unintended consequences.
Is that enough guidance, Mr. City Manager?
No, we could use a little more, I think. So you want us to restudy the whole plan or this particular area, or just so we have clarity on what you'd like us to do next? You want us to come back on the future?
I'd like
deployment?
us to, and this is just to vote and put this plan to bed, receive and file, because I do think we can study other avenues within this. There are 6 areas, right?
Or look in detail at the next phase.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Find
so
out where
you
the
wanna
next phase
get a-
is going, what streets do they affect?
You'd like to know what's coming next and have a report on that so we can have a conversation about what type of work we'll be doing and where.
Yes, because since we first voted on that, maybe this council, we need to know if things have changed, and maybe we vote differently. Maybe some of those areas we don't think we need, to include a bike lane.
Find out specific street names and areas in between all of us that, traverse this highway, that we can find out if it's effective to have it or not effective to have it.
Correct.
Okay.
So you like us to bring back, so just make sure we have clear direction. You're asking us to bring back the bike master plan and basically reauthorize it, what's next, and make sure you have a clear picture of what's coming, and you can say, yes, we're still on board with that.
Yes.
I see, okay.
So, is there a second for
I'll
that
second
motion?
that one.
Second, thank you. Please, any further discussion, questions? Please vote.
Thank you. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. I will now recuse myself from remaining one item number 7, and ask Mayor Pro Tem Sosa to finish the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Trujillo. Have a good night. Now we'll turn to an update on painting and security camera upgrades to the downtown parking structure. So that the City Council receive and file an update regarding the interior and exterior painting of the parking structure, as well as the installation of the security camera system, and 2, discuss and provide feedback on options for painting geometric mural design on one of the exterior walls. City Manager Bradley, is there a staff report, item number 7?
Yes, sir. We'll keep Matt up here and have him continue presenting on this item. Thank you.
Very good. I'll just give a very quick update on this project. We reported to council on November 28th, and at that time had run through the project. But I will give a little bit of background for you. This downtown parking structure was built in 1997, 4 stories in height, total parking capacity of 403 spaces. It's bounded by Lorena up to the west, which is one of the entrances and exits, the movie theater to the north, the View movie theater, New Street to the east, which is another one of the entrance and exits, and 2nd Street to the south. Maintenance is handled by public works staff as well as a number of contractors. Security patrol services provided by Servexo. They're under contract through the end of this fiscal year. And just as I mentioned last time, lighting was upgraded within the parking structure. It was changed over to LED lights in November of 2017. And a portion of the structure was last painted in 2005, but essentially not much painting has been done on the structure. Again, quick update on the project. The interior exterior painting, we anticipate starting this. We spoke with the contractor today. We'll probably be beginning this at the beginning of March, and weather permitting, it's probably a 3-week project. So we intend to have this completed in the month of March, as long as we don't get a bunch of storms. That includes painting the interior walls, ceilings, and columns a clean white color to help reflect those LED lights. We think that'll help with illumination in there quite a bit. The exterior smooth walls and the stairs, a clean cream color. There's an existing cream color out there now. We would just be freshening that up on the walls, and a green color on the stairs, just following the same colors that we have out there now. We took this out to bid and received 19 bids, which is quite good, and it was quite beneficial to the city because our initial estimate was $250,000 to paint the structure. And we got a qualified bid from Mir Construction to do this for $62,500, and they are a contractor that's done quite a bit of painting over the years at city facilities, and so we were quite familiar with their work, but they also happen to provide the best price. Again, we expect to start beginning of March and be, if weather permitting, be done in about 3 weeks. Quick update on the security camera system. Most of this work is in place now. We have, this project included 12 cameras on the first 3 floors, 4 per floor. At the entrance and exits, there is a camera equipped with license plate reading technology. They're also focused on the stairwells and the elevators on each floor. There's 2 additional cameras on the rooftop that pan 360 degrees to give us full view. The electrical and network cabling upgrades have all been done, and those tie back to the police facility, so they have live viewing of the monitoring of the parking structure. Work is near completion, and simply right now we're waiting for delivery of cameras for installation, which we expect by the end of the month. Give you a quick update on our maintenance and patrol services. At our last meeting, we discussed enhancing the stairwells from doing that twice a month to doing it weekly, as well as we are currently receiving bids to do more thorough cleaning of the concrete decks on all 4 floors, going from once a month to bi-weekly. We should have those quotes in place and be able to award a contract by the end of February to start that. The elevator cleaning is done by our contractor Saturday through Monday on the weekends, where it needs quite a bit of attention, as well as our public works staff the rest of the week, Tuesday through Friday. Trash removal is handled daily by staff, but it's also supplemented by our contractors. Graffiti removal is handled Monday through Friday by our staff, and elevator inspection and cleaning is handled by our staff throughout the week. Our security patrol services, and this was what it was prior to August 23. It was until midnight, Monday through Thursday, until 2 a.m. Friday through Sunday. After August, that was upgraded to going until 2 a.m. Monday through Thursday and until 3 a.m. Friday through Sunday. And just want to note that there is a new RFP to be released tomorrow, February 14th, for a new contract for providing these patrol services. Again, Servexo's contract is expiring on June 30th, so staff has put together an RFP and is expected to award a contract later in the spring. And just to get a little bit of feedback on exterior painting, staff put together 4 concepts for painting one of the exterior walls. That wall was on New Street, at the New Street entrance, using the City of Downey color palette. And the hope was to kind of create synergy with the downtown area and all the work that's being done in there. And again, these are just options that we put together to kind of facilitate discussion and get some feedback. This is our option 1. And I included kind of the zoom-in version of that. These are also included in the staff report, but just going through these now. Option 2, zoom in. Option 3, zoom in. Option 4, with a zoom in. And again, simply we just put together some options for council to consider, discuss, and provide any feedback to council if they'd like us to move forward on that. And with that, I am happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Matt. Do any council members have any questions or comments?
I do. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Matt, thank you again. Thank you. Thank you for providing us this information. I really would like to have the schedule of the cleaning and updates in our report, or just so that we know we have that information handy. But in terms of these options for the mural, I want to say thank you to the staff. I know that you did your best. But I have to say, we need to have hopefully a local company, a local artist, design a mural that is really, that speaks to the beauty and the history of this city. Those were, were colorful and just have that avant-garde type of design. But certainly, I really believe Downey can do better and in design, and we're going to live with that mural for many years. And being the first, it's really got to be on point. But I want to thank the staff for providing us these options first. But I would like us to go to RFP.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Formetta. I agree. Actually, I kind of like these, especially the ones that say future unlimited. I do like the design, but I think we kind of, going along with Councilmember Formetta's comments, we kind of put these aside and, just along with the timing of our Spend Local campaign, myself and Councilmember Ortiz currently sit on the downtown subcommittee. I would like to get some input from some of the local businesses in the downtown district, and going along with our current Spend Local campaign, I would like to open this up, and we can keep these aside, open it up to some of the local artists, see if they come up with a design that encompasses Downey and its history, and give someone an opportunity to come up with a design for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. We've got the Downey, the aerospace rich history. We're a mid-century modern community as well with that. And there's got to be a combination of those. The Doodalicious mural is such a beautiful mural, and it's photographed over and over. And we talk about Instagram-worthy photos. Something that is going to be a wow factor with the future unlimited, which is the motto of our city. I'll stop now.
And since it is downtown Downey, we should have something that would say downtown Downey on the mural. If it's going to be a photo opportunity, people might stand there and take a picture. I like the inclusivity of the DDIA because those are the stakeholders. They should have a little bit of input. They're going to be seeing a lot of it. The businesses are there as well. Is this also going to be on the other side, or is it just one-sided?
We were just simply proposing one wall.
Because we do
on
have
the
two
street.
walls. Okay, so just this wall right here.
That was.
But maybe we just.
That was our proposal, but
Yeah.
if you want to do something different, we can take that direction. But that's.
There's one by the B of A building. That's the size I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a competition with art students for locally, but I'd like to see a little bit of more involvement or input from the community. I've read some of the social media, but we don't want this to be a 6-month endeavor either. So we can just reach out and try to have some new ideas or add to that mural, and that would be my idea. Keeping our history a little bit and knowing that what Downey is, it could be orange trees or the spaceship, or our logo is not even there. So.
And I also agree with my council colleagues. I think we can do a lot better. And I mean, when we see what the other area, it just gets photographed a lot. I don't think any of these will necessarily captivate, Instagram worthy to advertise Downey. So just to clarify, we could still paint everything white, and this is just going to come back to us.
Yeah, exactly. We'll proceed with he provided us with a quote to do all of the exterior walls that you see here. So it would just be right now it's kind of a off-white cream color. We would just freshen that up with the same color essentially.
Perfect. I just don't want to stop any or hold any
And that's is that slump stone? Is that the wall? It's slump stone concrete.
The wall won't be.
It'll stay
that'll
beige.
stay in its
stay
kind
the
of out
beige.
as
Okay,
we. Our
natural.
intention was to paint like for like. So whatever surfaces are painted now, we would paint again, unless directed otherwise. But that was.
I just think this will be a great opportunity for advertisement for our city. So anything that it has downtown Downey, Future Unlimited, things that I think this will be the next great place for our young generation to take photos out. So we need to take that and advantage of that situation.
And now, question regarding the stairwells and the color green. I know that our color is this beautiful blue. Is there a particular reason why we're staying with green? Is this something that is?
No, we simply just were kind of going with other than kind of going with the much cleaner white interior. But I'm happy to take any direction on a different color for the stairwell if that's.
I'm okay with blue.
Is there a preference for?
I think our city blue is more of a darker blue, and then if
Right.
you have the darker stairs, the light green makes it a little bigger, easier to see.
You
I
think
think
so?
the dark might be a little more hard to see in the evening.
Yeah, it also might give it a little more darker look, and there's if you're trying to get it brightened up for safety purposes, the lighter colors would be more advantageous to that. But if council is interested in doing different colors, we're
Well,
willing.
no, I wanted to keep with, utilize our color scheme. However, if it's a dark blue, the last thing we want is to make it darker. We want to brighten it up.
Orange. My favorite color is orange, but not everybody likes that color.
Something from above. Orange, that could be.
No, I agree with Claudia, Councilwoman Claudia Frometa. One thing I think of when I see green is the carpet we have in our office. But but I do. I mean, I'm open to the possibility of opening to different colors for the stairs. I like it. A lighter blue, or someone said orange somewhere there. Would that change the cost from the 62?
No, not really. But we do probably need to get some direction tonight because we're getting ready to move forward on that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But
Orange, the Downey orange. Not sure,
the light one right there.
Not sure, not the light. I mean, it's in between.
Well, just like that stripe.
The stripe right there. Right?
That's right.
What do you guys think?
Sure.
Councilmember Sosa doesn't care. All right.
Let's investigate. Let's not make it.
we don't have time to investigate the colors tonight, though. That's
Right.
Yeah. So, well, we can bring it back. It just takes more time to get the job done.
No. We need to have it painted.
Okay.
Again, I just want to go back to the exterior painting. I mean, like this, I do like this one, this in particular, but I want to open it up and, hold on. I do like this one, but I want to open it up and just make sure that we have other options to choose from and make sure we make the best decision possible. So, we need to make a motion.
We want to get a motion because the color, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we got it memorialized. If we could take that'd be helpful for us.
I motion to paint the structure white, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it. That's it.
so-
Yes.
And with the orange,
The orange and the orange.
Stairwell.
and RFP for the mural project. So we'll bring that back.
Yes, I second that.
Okay. Was that? Oh, let's vote? Vote on that? Okay, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Thank you,
That was the hardest
Council.
vote, right? It seemed like.
The motion passes 4-0 with Mayor Trujillo absent from the meeting.
Okay, so that's it, right? All right. Thank you, Matt. Okay, we will close this meeting. An adjournment. The City Council will now adjourn this meeting in the memory of Trooper Joel Pop of the Michigan State Police, who was fatally struck by vehicle while assisting with a DUI investigation. Lieutenant David J. McShane of the New York State Environmental Conservation Police, who died as a result of medical complications developed after his assignment to the World Trade Center site following the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Trooper Jimmy Senescar of the Georgia State Patrol, who was killed in a single vehicle crash while on patrol. Trooper Zachary Fink of the Florida Highway Patrol, who was involved in a fatal vehicle patrol crash during a highway pursuit. Deputy Sheriff Christopher Johnson of Hartnett County Sheriff's Office, who was involved in the fatal 3-vehicle crash. Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, Specialist Kennedy Sanders, and Specialist Brianna Moffitt, respectively, from the 718th Engineer Company, 926th Engineer Battalion, and 926th Engineer Brigade out of Fort Moore in Georgia, who died when a one-way unmanned aerial system, AWAS, impacted their container housing units. Also, the 5 U.S. Marines that crashed in a remote area in Southern California during a training flight from Creech Air Force Base near Las Vegas to Marine Corps Air Station Miramar in San Diego. Bill Brand, Mayor of Redondo Beach and 15-year member of the Redondo Beach City Council. Lorraine Parks, a beloved longtime Downey resident. Jesus Guzman, 32, City Employee, Public Works, Utilities Division, and also, as mentioned earlier, beloved longtime pastor Jeff Johnson from Calvary Chapel Downey. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.